Happy Halloween, guys, and welcome back to your favorite YouTube channel, right? Right? Anyway, possibly one of, if not the most influential shows growing up for most of us when we were kids was undoubtedly Blue's Clues. It was such a really nice and sort of relaxing show to watch, and it was made even better by a good friend, Steve. I honestly really love Blue's Clues, and so to finish off the shows I watched Kid series, what better show to talk about than this? Let's begin. But before we get to all that, be sure to like and subscribe, share this video with your friends, check Pulse Shopple, my Deamer, and my Twitter, and all links are in the description. Now let's start the video now. Blue's Clues was a show focused around a man named Steve, as he tries to solve what his pet dog Blue wants to do that day. You see, Blue can't talk, so she leaves paw prints on certain clues that relate to the thing she wants to do. So, Steve then has to go around and, find these clues so he can put them all together and figure it out. Steve lives inside of a house where most of the objects could move and talk. There was Shovel and Pail, a talking Shovel and Pail, another word for bucket. There was also Side Table Drawer, who would give Steve the notebook he would use to draw down the clues Blue gave him. There was Mr. Salt and Mr. Pepper, two French spices who are kind of in charge of the house for some weird, odd reason. And their kids, Paprika and Cinnamon, who are Paprika and Cinnamon, yeah. There was also Tickety Talk, not to be confused with the show with the same name, who was an alarm clock. There was Slippery Slope, Slippery Soap, a bar of soap. Periwinkle, a small cat. And there was also another dog similar to Blue named Magenta, a magenta dog. Oh yeah, there's also Mailbox, best known for the occasional mail time, mail time, mail time, mail time, mail time. Right, now doesn't that just put a big smile on your face? A thing that made the show so great was that it was rather relaxing and in your face like most other shows. It takes its time with things and it's never really loud. It kind of uses the 30 minutes to its advantage. I mean, that's partially due to Steve having absolute terrible hearing because he can't hear the invisible kids off screen telling him where the freaking clue is. Seriously, I think there was an episode where it took him a whole minute to find it. Sorry. Blue's Clues was really revolutionary of how they incorporated the American Sign Language into some of the episodes, which no other show had really done at that point. That just goes to show how great of a show Blue's Clues was. It was already breaking through walls that hadn't been built yet. At the end of one of the later seasons, Steve eventually left the show to go to college, passing the torch to his younger brother, Joe, who took over for the rest of the show's run. I know a lot of people didn't really like Joe, as he didn't really live up to be as great as Steve did, but I didn't really have a problem with him, If I think he was just as good. The show did eventually end in August of 2006, but we will never forget the amazing memories we made watching the show. I know there's kind of a new sort of reboot show with the new host, Josh, but I haven't really seen it, as I'm not really a fan of how it's taking a more modern approach, something the show didn't really do, and was special because of it. I mean, I am kind of excited for the upcoming movie, though. It's bringing back Steve and Joe, so it kind of feels like Spider-Man No Way Home in a way. That's so cool. But definitely the biggest thing I want to talk about was that one Twitter video where Steve, now bald, talks to his old friends who are watching his show, us, telling them that he never forgot about them, even after he went to college. God, if Steve ever dies one day, we all die too, because this man is a capital G. Blue's Clues is undoubtedly one of the best kid shows to ever grace the world. It was calming, it was wholesome, and it was relaxing, which is kind of the same thing, and Steve and Jill were great main characters for the kids to interact with. While it's not better than Dino Dan, in my opinion, I still believe that Blue's Clues is just as good. Well, technically, Dino Dan was is a Canadian show and was primarily released onto TVO Kids and brought over to Nick Jr. for a handful of years. So technically, Blue's Clues is the theoretically best show to come out on Nick Jr., at least where I live. I would never forget the impact that the show had on me growing up. Steve or Joe, if either of you are watching this, thank you so much. This is a great show. I love you too. Yeah, I'm not. And that's it. The Shows I Watched Kid series is officially done. I'm really glad that I got to look back on some of my favorite shows growing up and tell you all about them. But now it's finished. I have no more shows to talk about. Still, I will never ever forget any of them, as they all shaped my childhood in so many ways, regardless of whether or not they were on different channels or not. Now, honestly, looking back on all the different shows I watched in PBS Kids, Sprout, Disney Junior, and and like Hub Network and Nick Jr. It's like it's like the TV remote I had just like gave me so much power because I just had the power because I just had like I could just like watch anything. Like seriously, I don't think I discovered Cartoon Network until I was 7 years old. Yeah, so thank you guys for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe, check out Bull's Trouble, as well as check my Demoner and my Twitter. The links are in the description. God, sorry. I have so much you to share this with your friends, and by doing all those three things, you're helping me a lot to reach 1,000 subscribers. And I will see you guys next time. Hope you guys have a happy Halloween.